dia a todos. Em nome da DRI eu queria agradecer a presença de todos, se juntarem a uma conversa que vamos ter aqui. Os clientes andam a falar sobre vocês, sobre as vossas empresas, e hoje reunimos aqui um conjunto de oradores que estão na linha da frente do tema do Social CRM e gostávamos que aproveitassem esta oportunidade para interagir com eles e eliminar todos os vossos receios, dúvidas e questões que tenham, porque nada melhor que estas pessoas que vão estar connosco para vos poder ajudar. Nesta tarefa de vos dinamizar e puxar por vocês, eu vou chamar aqui o Zezo, para quem esteve no ano passado, certamente se lembrará dele.
Olá, bom dia.
Vai se lembrar dele, certamente.
Olá, bom dia. Boa, ótimo. Diogo, sempre.
Ok.
Bem, obrigado por terem chegado a tempo e horas. Já é muito bom nos dias que correm com o trânsito que anda. A minha função mesmo é essa, garantir algum cumprimento de tempo e também de interação. Não é? Temos que garantir que vocês têm espaço e têm energia para fazer as perguntas que são necessárias numa rede de possibilidades, num momento de conectividade, num momento em que Social CRM é a palavra de ordem desse grupo que aqui se reúne. É claro que se vocês não colaborarem, terão que passar pelo meu protocolo, que é uma chatice. A partir de agora, nós vamos chamando aqui os convidados da DRI, portanto que um a um irão juntar-se ao Diogo aqui nesse sítio de conversa, que se estende obviamente para essa zona onde vocês estão. Estão todos de acordo? Ok? As apresentações dos senhores speakers, a maior parte deles será feita em inglês, a nossa moderação poderá ser feita em inglês e português, ajudamos em qualquer tradução que se fizer necessária. Eu chamo para essa primeira conversa, chamo o Mr. Tom Schuster, please, General Manager da SugarCRM. Vamos, come on. Tom, welcome, please. And Patrícia Delgado, diretora regional europeia da SugarCRM, também vai se juntar a nós. Patrícia. Pareceu mais palmas para a Patrícia do que para ele, mas tudo bem. É Isabel. Isabel, vamos a isso? Bem, apresentação, Sr. Tom, please, it's yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
30 minutes.
Well, welcome and thank you very much for microphone
today. And my name is Tom Schuster. I'm General Manager of SugarCRM here in Europe, and Isabel Delgado is our Director for the Southern European and the Nordic region. I'm here to talk about social business and social CRM. And so what I'd like to talk about is firstly talk about the business context. What is the business reason for thinking about social CRM? Then look at the essential characteristics of social CRM. Then the question is, okay, so I know what to do, but how do I get started? What do I do? Then I'm going to bring you a live example, a fantastic social example of implementing social CRM. And then finally, I'll make a recommendation to you as to what you should do. So the CRM landscape has evolved. On the left-hand side, how do I make this thing red? On the left-hand side, you'll see this is the old way that CRM works. You have the supplier talking in an orderly fashion to his customers. On the right-hand side, in social CRM, you see everyone's talking to everyone else. It's a much greater network of discussion. And this means that the buying model, the social buying model has changed. Instead of the supplier talking to the customer directly, there are lots of people that influence that. On the left, you have the customer looking in, he's reading peer reviews, he's looking at competitive alternatives, he's getting recommendations from friends. This is a much more dynamic and complex environment. So what does one do about this? Well, the thing to do is to put the customer in the middle. Traditional organizations put their own processes in the middle, and the customer is on the edge. What you have to do is move the customer from the edge to the center. And when you do that, then everything will work after that, because you start in the right place. So starting with the customer, put the customer in the center. And for that, you need a CRM system. You put the customer in the center, and you need a CRM system. CRM is customer relationship management. So it's all about managing the relationship with that customer. And CRM is about customers. It's not about the company, it's about the customers. One needs to get that, and as soon as you do that, you're thinking in a social fashion. So CRM is about acquiring, retaining, and growing customers. It's very expensive for you to win a customer. You want to keep him, and you want him to buy more from you over time. And to do that, because he's really happy, he really feels that you're adding value to his life, and that your products are, he's got the right products from you, and they're really doing what he wants them to do. So what we're talking about here is enabling the sales edge. So in order, the people that are talking to the customers are the people that are at the edge here. The sales department, customer services, direct sales department, call center, marketing department. The traditional organization does not give these people either the information they need to talk to the customer or the tools they need in order to be able to do it properly. So a customer nowadays is very informed. When he speaks to someone in your support center, if that person can solve his problem, he's happy. If he can't solve the problem, the guy gets upset. So you want to be able to give him all the information he needs so that he's able to do that, empower him, and give him the tools that will work in the way that he wants to work. So, but now one adds the additional element of social. How does social change how one enables these people? Well, you have your sales and customer and call center, but now you include the customer in a two-way conversation so that your traditional firewall, your computer firewall of your organization doesn't dictate the boundary of your ability to communicate with the customers, but you include them beyond the firewall in one communication system. And of course, you have a lot of partners as well. It's not just customers themselves, but I imagine a lot of you also have partners, as we do, and DRI is our biggest, most important partner in many, many respects. So they need to be included in this conversation as well. So that's all about CRM. But how are you going to make this really work? Well, so social CRM is not a replacement for CRM, it's an extension of CRM. You're extending the traditional inside CRM to outside. And in order to make this work, you need to make CRM simple. In the past, the old projects with SAP or Siebel or these old first generation type big database internal projects, 70% of the projects failed. 70%. I know that because I was one of them. I implemented Siebel at my company, RSA Security. It cost us $5 million, and it was a disaster. And that doesn't. So what does one need to do? One needs to make the issue of why these CRM projects failed was that the users didn't use them. It's not like an accounting system where they have to use it. There's a law that says you must use it, you must use it this way. It's a system that is dynamically helping people to use their business. And they're making the decision, do I use a system? Do I use a piece of paper? And the only way you're going to get them to use it is you make it very simple and very supportive of their work. Then they'll say, I like the system, I'm going to use it. So it has to be simple. There's no point in making it complex. So in order to make it simple, for social business, there are three key things that need to be. Firstly, the CRM system needs to be intuitive, that you immediately understand how to use it. It needs to be open, in many ways open, and it needs to be very flexible. Because the thing about CRM, it's a journey. It's not a point in time. But you're going to find over the years, you're going to change. You're going to buy companies, you're going to include other departments, other systems you'll be needing, applications that need to get integrated, social tools that need to be of various sorts. You need a tremendous degree of flexibility. So let's look now at how do you start with social CRM. What is the start? Well, I'm going to go through these 6. So firstly, you implement an open CRM system. You lay the groundwork. Secondly, you customize the user interface and processes so it works just the way you should be working in your company. Thirdly, you integrate the essential back-end system so you can get this information flowing in so that you can have one place to go for if you want to find out about a customer in your organization. Fourthly, you implement a flexible infrastructure so that the whole underlying hardware, software network, that it enables flexibility at the application layer. Fifthly, you provide collaboration tools. And finally, you use the social tools of choice. So let's look at each one of those in detail. Let's start off with implementing an open CRM system. So the thing about openness is there's a huge difference between old classical closed systems like Microsoft and SAP and all of that lot, and modern web-based open applications, web applications, true ones. So I'll take an example of Sugar, but you don't, this is just the way that we do it. We've been doing this for 6 years now. We're an open company, and we work in very close community with our partners and with our customers. So open systems means open source, so that you have total visibility, total transparency, total control. The whole thing about open systems is the vendor, us, is not in control, but we put you in control. We put our partners in control to enable you to be in control. And you should be thinking also, I'm going to put my people in control. That's the people that are touching the customer. You put them in control. With social, you move the control to the customer himself. It's a change in philosophy. It's a development. It's a change. It's an evolution of a company's philosophy. For that, you need to be totally web standard based. You need to be, through the openness, you have a reasonable and predictable cost, not these huge elephant expensive projects. Openness brings community so that you have a vast amount of extensions to the product that you can get yourself, and DRI themselves are one of our chief contributors to the community. So the second thing is customize the user interface and processes. Whoops. Oh, perfect. So the whole thing is about having an intuitive user interface that people want to work. So the intuitiveness is for users. You need to have an application that looks like Google, that feels like Facebook. You can't have an application that looks like an old application from long ago. It doesn't work with the modern user. And it needs to work the way that the user works. Not the way that the system designer thought would be good, but that the person says, that's easy, I can use it. And administration. IT departments are very overloaded. They can concern themselves with heavy-duty technical things. But the system, the CRM system, must be able to be administered by the users themselves, so that the IT people only have to do the really difficult things. And that means very easy customization, because you want to change things, you want to personalize it, and to ensure, because we're talking about a web application is using browsers. If you're a big company, you're going to have people using Internet Explorer, someone else is using Mozilla Firefox, someone else is using Google Chrome. Those are updating all the time. Likewise, you'll be using mobiles, iPods. If you're using Sugar, iPhones, iPods, Androids, whatever else, Blackberries, all these different things. They're updating themselves all the time. That means that you need to make sure, if you're using a web application, that the web application is always at the latest level, because we're taking advantage of all these changes and making sure that the software works in this very changing environment. So it's very important that, and again, your partner DRI comes in here to ensure that you are seamlessly able to upgrade and always use our latest version. And despite having customized your system heavily, which you should do and integrated, you're still able to upgrade seamlessly. So that's the second point, customize interfaces and user interfaces and processes. The third thing is integrating the system with the back-end systems. So the very important thing here is what you're trying to give your user is a 360-degree view of the customer. And So if you've got, everyone's got an ERP system, SAP, or there's lots of different things. Again, this is where your partner comes in. You integrate the ERP. You get the information flowing into the system. You integrate business intelligence tools, possibly, that you use for a very detailed look at the data. But basically, everything, if anyone wants to know anything about a customer, they go to their CRM system. They find what they need. A lot of the information is not generated there, but that's where you find it. We have lots of companies, insurance companies especially, are very big on this topic. So now you've given the person the tools he needs, you've given him the environment that he needs, you've given him the information that he needs. So now what you need to make sure is that your infrastructure is flexible enough so that that you'll be able to enable the users and the departments to make decisions in the future and not be limited by the decision you made at the beginning. That's the most important thing in a social environment, is the future is going to change. You know that. What you don't know is how is it going to change. And what you don't want to do is make a decision today that's not going to enable you to make a decision tomorrow that's a good one. So what do I mean by that? I mean go forward, not backward. So here's an example. There are many different layers. There's the data level and there's the architecture level. And I'll just take one example here. So if you look at cloud, lots talking about cloud today. What does cloud mean? To Sugar, cloud means run anywhere. That means I'll start somewhere, but if I want to change my mind, I'll move somewhere else and I don't have a problem. So for example, at Sugar, we have the vendor cloud, which is our Sugar on demand. You go on, you know, two hours later, you're fully working. Or you can go on the public cloud, IBM Smart Cloud, Windows Azure, or Amazon EC2, doesn't matter, it's all pre-installed, get a license, put the license in, chips, away you go. Or you go to the partner, and most of your customers are being hosted by DRI, they have their own hosting. Or you actually want to go behind your firewall, into the firewall behind, and have it locally, on-site, installed. And the important thing is, it's all the same price, it costs the same wherever you go, it's the same license, it's the same software. We don't even know if you decide, okay, I'll start off, say, in the public cloud, but then I think, I need the support of DRI, I'm going to move it here. We don't even know about that. You can take your customizations, you take your data, you take your integration, and it works. So that's the important thing, is to think, this is one example, to make sure that the infrastructure you build will enable you to change. Your security people might come along and say, you're not allowed to do that anymore. You're on Amazon, but now, for some reason, the company says that part of it has got to come behind the firewall. You don't want to have to change everything because of that. So flexibility is absolutely key in the infrastructure. Next one is provide collaboration tools. Who here uses email? Anyone use email here? Okay, all right. Who doesn't use email? All right, nobody. Okay, good. So email is part of our lives. Calendar, documents, and using web conferencing, using box.net or whatever to share your file. That's what we do every day these days. So it's very important to integrate these collaboration tools into your social CRM system in order that people can use the things that they use every day in one. If they're not going here, then they're going there. But there's just one seamless experience. Then the last thing is use the social tools of choice. So now you've got your open CRM system in place, you've got the data there, you've got people using it, they're putting emails into, attaching an email to an opportunity, and they're dropping a document in there and arranging a teleconference with a customer and some partners, and they're talking, and it's all going, all the information is there, they always find it. But how do you take it that next level to actually do the social interaction? Well, there's many things. I mean, obviously you want to take the Twitter feeds, you want to, before you make a phone call, you want to make sure that you can see everything that this guy's doing, what he's blogging, what he's twittering. Then you want to increase the data you've got by pulling from LinkedIn or pulling from Inside View or all these web resources to enrich the data that you have about the person. You want to, if you're, be able to click on the address, get Google Maps, tells you where to go, everything like that. There's obviously is a standard part of an open CRM system like Sugar if you're going to be doing this. But the question is, that's great. I mean, this is a wonderful thing because now I've got lots more information, lots of useful tools. But the young people today don't act like we do. I was doing an event a few months ago in Holland, and there was a library talking. And the librarian said, you know, we used to be a business that lent people books. People would come to the library and they would get a book and they read it. Nowadays, we are a service organization. And our service organization reaches people not by them coming to see us, but you know what they use? This is what they use, a cell phone. And they won't use a computer, a young person. Their age group is 14 to 24. So we have to offer a service through the interface that our users want to use, or our customers, as you define it, want to use. And so the question is, what's the social CRM interface of the future? And the answer for me is the social networking site of choice, the place where people live. My sons, I've got a son, 17 years old. How many of you have got teenage children here in the room? Got quite a few, right? What do they do all the time? They're always sitting there, chatting with their friends. Why don't you go outside? I'm chatting. And they live inside this thing. So if you want to get them, you need to use the social networking side as your interface. I'm not saying for everybody, but for a large percent of the population. If you're an open CRM, you can do this. So I'm going to give you an example here from a company called Hillel. And Hillel is a big, they organize a vast number of students, and they use students as the people, volunteers, in order to do their work, talking to other students. They use Facebook as the interface for Sugar. So let's look at some of the things that you can do here. So they're in Facebook, and what do? You've got contacts, you're talking to people, you're going to add additional fields, so they've enriched Facebook to increase the number of fields, so you get more information than you would otherwise get in Facebook. Now, you take that data and you push that data into Sugar. So, because the big question that I'm asked over and over again by people is, so they say, Facebook is where most of my interaction with customers happen. I remember one guy saying, what keeps me awake at night is, what happens if Facebook goes away? I lose everything about my customers, because it's there and I don't own it. So how do I get it into my own systems? There you go. They push it straight into Sugar. And I must say at this point, DRI has experiences this with Gulf Petroleum, you know, I think everyone knows Gulf. Here in Portugal, there's already an integration being done by DRI in exactly doing this, Facebook together with Sugar. So you're going to enter friend details in Facebook. So now the guy's not thinking I'm using a CRM system, I'm chatting with my friends, I'm putting details in there, I'm adding interactions with them, and it gets pushed into Sugar. And then, so it's not just about people. The other thing you do with Facebook is you get together, right? And then they all sort of go off and have a flash mob or something like that. Well, what you do is you have an event. In Sugar, we think of that as a campaign. If we're in marketing, we think of it as a meeting. If we're in a calendar, all those things. For a Facebook person, it's a Facebook event. So you create it in Facebook, and then you sync them back to Sugar. You can match the event attendees. Add interactions. You can enter the friend details into Facebook, and add interactions. So now you go into Sugar, and you can do the opposite. Oops, this thing's going back. So now when it comes into Sugar, so now I'm no longer in Facebook. You look at the top left there, you see the little Sugar cube. I'm now in Sugar. So some people will be using Sugar, some people will be using Facebook, some of them will use the one, but then they want to do something more complex, they might go into Sugar and do that. So here, I've got the contact profile page. Everything has come out of Facebook, except for the stuff that I've increased it by pulling the other social tools, like LinkedIn and others, and also what I've brought from my internal systems, what have they bought, what's their delivery address, all the stuff that I've got. And what one can also do is you can write a comment on the wall of a friend in Facebook from Sugar. So you see they can move between the two without losing functionality. And you can link existing contacts to Facebook, type the name. So here we're in Sugar, we're looking for people, but they're Facebook people. So you're giving them a seamless experience and you're letting them use more than Facebook without them really realizing it. And, you know, do a friend request out of Sugar. Here you see there's a special tab that was created, people. Remember when I said customize? That's a customized interface of Sugar at the top there. It's still Sugar, but it's been customized specifically to what they want. And of course, mobile interactions, because most people are going to be using the cell phone and other things like that. With Sugar, you get a full usage of the different devices. Intelligent, you go to the App Store, download Sugar Mobile Plus. It works not only in online mode, but also in offline mode. I don't know if you read the paper yesterday, BlackBerry just had a huge crash. I don't know how many of you are BlackBerry users here? Right, so you didn't use your BlackBerry yesterday morning, right? Down it went. What happens then? Oh, no problem, because Sugar has a local mode. And then when BlackBerry finally fixes their problem, you come online again. Or you might decide it's too expensive when you go to Spain, you don't want to be using online all the time. So here's a quote from what Wayne Firestone said. He said, our newly updated REACH program, powered by Sugar Professional, even features a mobile application that allows students, professionals to track their interactions relationship. They had a target of I think it was 15 campuses. They're now at about 50 campuses. They way over-exceeded their goals, by far. And you can do this in your organization, whatever sort of company you've got. You can think about how can I change the way that people work and make it really, this interaction, this social interaction really work. So let's have a look just to summarize. We have the different components of Social CRM. There's the conferencing, there's the whole cloud elements, it's the collaboration elements, it's the community elements, all mobile, and the important thing, it must be working in whatever language that people happen to use. Sugar, we've got 26, 27. We just did Catalanian, it was last week, right? So we just got Catalanian and Spanish. We've got 27 languages, and we'll have 30 by the year end. So the user must be able to work in the language that he wants to work in. Each different person in a different language. Doesn't matter. So let's look at so to conclude, my recommendations to you. So firstly, start with the customer. Don't start with your organization. Put the customer in the middle. Secondly, choose an open CRM system. Make sure that it's open and flexible and intuitive. Thirdly, enable a flexible cloud infrastructure. We call it Cloud 2.0. Make sure you can run anywhere. Make sure that your vendor doesn't control you, but you control your environment. And you can make the choices in the future that you want to make without having someone telling you can't. And integrate collaboration and conferencing. Give the users all the tools in a seamless experience. And finally, allow users to use the social tools of their choice. Not the one the vendor tells you to do. I've got to use this instant messaging or that thing. Let them use, if they want to use Twitter, let them use Twitter. Make it integrated so that they do what they want to do, and then they'll make sure that your social CRM experience is a great one. So I would recommend to you, don't take the closed road, the slow, closed, unhappy road, the old way, the expensive way, but go the open road. Go the sweeter road. Go with Sugar. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much. I'm sure people will make some questions at the final. With Isabel Delgado will stay with us for the final conversation. Thank you very much for your vision. 25 years of career. I think it's huge. So, next. Switch. Bem, continuemos. Temos agora uma pessoa a seguir, mas antes eu não queria deixar de aproveitar a oportunidade. Estamos todos juntos e que é rara. E essas pessoas que cá estão raramente se reúnem numa próxima oportunidade. Portanto, cada oportunidade vale o que vale e são possibilidades. Então, eu ia convidar os senhores, se possuem oportunidade de ter algum cartão pessoal para passar, a hora é esta. Se encontraram alguém e vem de longe, aquela pessoa que me interessa, aquele não é o que interessa. Essa é a hora. Se não tiverem cartões, não há problema. Música, por favor. Nós temos cartões de sobra branco aqui para poder colocar nome, e-mail, podem sincronizar os telemóveis, podem passar os cartões que têm. Olhem para a pessoa ao lado, de trás e da frente, não é só para perseguir as pessoas mais bonitas, são aquelas que são mais eficazes, aquelas que têm maior potencial de criar possibilidades, e isso eu acho que é uma lógica social. E começa agora. Escolham alguém, tem 1 minuto para o fazer, é agora ou na próxima. Temos aqui uns cartões, pode chamar as pessoas que precisaram. Quem precisa de cartão branco? Quem não tem cartão? Quem precisa de cartão? Tem um cartão? Vou já começar, vou dar o meu também. If you have a card, you can change your connection right now with the people, okay? A stranger one. I will take mine for you, okay? Cards, quem é que precisa de cartão? Precisa de cartão, não tem? People have no card, and I have one for them. Let's go, make a connection. Mais 2, no problem, connection. Acceleration, se faz favor. Bora, tem 1 minuto. Senhores, já não deram a ninguém um cartão? Já trocaram? Ah, precisa de um cartão? Não trouxe hoje. Pronto, passa a palavra. Precisa de um cartão? Toma, só 1. Mais 1. Vá. Mais 2. Vai lá. 2. Olha isso atrás de você, à frente. Passe a palavra. Pode ser um bocado de caderno, de folha. Pode ser um contato no telemóvel. Olá, tá bom? É bem isso. Cartões brancos, por favor. Senhores, não perca a oportunidade de conhecer alguém novo. Como é que é? Nada? Vocês estão em cima escondidos porque está escuro, eu vou mandar acender a luz. Tá bem? Cartão, não passa para ninguém? Não quer o meu número, não? Não, tá bem. Sou casado, tá? Filho, tá bem? Cartão já tem? Já trocou a informação? Já? Cartão, bora! Cartão, bora? 2, 4! 4 cartões, bora! Toma, passa a palavra. Luiz Vigari, da Léo, farmacêutico. Vai conversar com a primavera ali atrás, olha. Você, onde é que vem? By Maven, é isso? Be Maven Consulting. Passou um cartão já? Já deu seu contato com alguém? Ótimo! Vai acabar, aproveitem! Mais cartões, quem quer? Nada? Não quer vencer ninguém? Tá farta, não tá? Pois é, tem dias que apetece desligar tudo, não é? Tem dia que eu não apetece fazer social nenhum. Vocês aí, moças, já tá? Já? Já funciona. Troca lá cartões. Bora, tá quase. César Carvalho, toma, Trends Energizing, toma, senhores, toma, senhores. Ok, Lithium, Cool and Deadly, Brand Lovers, Advocates, Pepper and Rogers. Mais, foi, chega, chega. Tá bom? Ninguém quer mais? Muito bem, isso é ótimo. Quem estava dormindo acordou. Entretanto, quem está aí em cima, escondido, no escurinho, eu vou mandar acender a luz ali em cima. Desçam, por favor, que há espaço aqui embaixo. Há interação aqui embaixo. Olha aqui esses lugares vazios, por favor. Depois do coffee break, pelo menos. Promete? Obrigado. Continuemos. Bem, agora vamos